to the penultimate session of another very successful SWE Summit. My name is James Wing. I'll be your moderator for this fireside chat alongside someone whom I am very proud to have worked for in the past, Dr. Songyee Yoon. Quick intro here, buckle up for this one. Dr. Yoon is the founder and managing director of Principal Venture Partners, an early-stage venture capital firm investing in AI-native companies. As a member of South Korea's Presidential Advisory Council, she served under 2 presidents. She is a member of the MIT Corporation and served as an advisory member on the Center for Asia-Pacific Policy. She was named a Young Global Leader by the World Economic Forum, elected to the National Academy of Engineering of Korea, and recognizes the Wall Street Journal's 50 Women to Watch in Business. Our topic for today, as you can see on the walls behind us, is how to fund your game in 2025. This is a topic that we both care deeply about and believe that gaming's best days lie ahead. Dr. Yoon, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's my honor to sit with you and talk about investing.
Amazing. Yeah. I know, a dream. Well, off to the races then. Let's get into it. It's no secret that VC-backed companies have experienced a more difficult fundraising environment as of late, specifically down 77%. That's content funding has fallen 77% from highs in 2022 to this quarter. Why do you think the post-COVID pullback has been so dramatic for our industry specifically? And do you see that turning around soon?
Well, I think that's a really great question. I think it's not just the gaming industry. There are a lot of other industries that suffer from the kind of the decreased funding from the VC. Many houses, and because we just lived through the era where there is a very low cost capital was available, and abundance of capital allowed hyper valuation and an investment in like a lot of the companies that doesn't really meet some of the standards. And also, like on top of that, I think game investment in early stage gaming studios went through some drastic change in models. Before, there is always a kind of publisher model, and then like a team of developers and publisher work together and iterate through the content until they have something they can work with. It's either vertical slice, alpha, whatever that can resonate with the audience and the market. And the process was very integral part of building the studio from then on to scale up. But I think with abundance of funding allowed a lot of the developers to skip the process. And oftentimes it's a great idea, but there is no guarantee that the market is going to accept that as a kind of fun, innovative game that it's worth investing in their time. But with the ideas, they were able to fund their new studio, hire a bunch of people, 20, 30 people, and work on it 2-3 years, and it was already too late to go back to be nimble and iterate the process as we used to do in good old days with the publishers, but they have to go through the next stage. So I think that put all the studios in this kind of very awkward position that they have something that's working, have invested a lot, but it's really their long way to go to find that product market fit from the gaming perspective, which is a kind of unique fun. And I think that makes it really difficult for the new money come in and kind of double down on their effort.
Yeah, it was very easy to be a capital allocator when money was free, but it's a very different ecosystem now. Yeah, thank you. Let's see, around 2023, we saw many startups sort of pivot from blockchain to AI, and I think you and I heard a lot of the same jokes about what was going on there with funds and companies alike. But whether it's IP technologies or platforms or genres, are there elements today that founders can incorporate earlier on in the process of starting a company that would be more attractive to capital allocators in the?
I think I do. The reason why I invest in AI native companies today is this is a great time to start new companies because of availability of technology and resources, and also like talent. and that allows us to build any company, not just in gaming, be more efficient and more productive and come up with a kind of new type of creativity, incorporate new type of creativity that was not available before. So I think it's because I believe that it's an underlying, the actual game changer. I think it's a good idea to incorporate new technology when you are building new studios, but I wouldn't recommend you doing it just to please investors. I think it's like starting a company in studio is a long game. Like you have to commit to work on that for at least 5 to 10 years to build anything substantial and meaningful to the world. And just kind of following that hype and trend that may change like 3 years from now I don't think it's a very good idea. I think it's to stay with your vision and idea and be authentic to that vision is always the best strategy.
Yeah, we've seen similar things, and the most authentic founders are usually the most successful ones, so it makes plenty of sense. In your book, Push Play, which is available now on Amazon.com, go now, Amazon.com, you go into great detail about how AI in games creates a better experience for the player, whether it's NPCs, procedural generation, dynamic environments, which is a very exciting future for players, for me. However, when it comes to developers, many are looking at AI to alleviate some of the costs of the production itself. Do you see AI being a major catalyst for change in how these games are made and how much they cost and how democratized that process is?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's what I also talk about in the book is that AI is not something new to game development. Our internet, we have had the VP of AI since 2005. It's a different type of AI than what we talk about, what we think about today. But still, I think we incorporated NLP engines that's tailored for gamers, and also all this like monetization. We used a lot of the like AI to be really adaptive and personalized for individual players' play patterns. So I think it's not new to the gaming industry. So like we cannot say, oh, like all of a sudden we are faced with this like new technology change is going to change the way we do the game development. I think we have to always embrace the new technology if it makes us to be more creative and more productive. So I think and there is certainly potential that I think in our game development sessions, we talk in early days of development when we're building big MMOs, we talk about new world and like environment and like kind of world view. And in the past, it took for one iteration, it took like a couple of weeks because concept artists have come back with like, is this what you meant? And we have to have a next round of discussions. But like today, we can do it in real time with all this like generative AI technology in that room right there, and have the more productive conversation and go through that process faster. And allows us to be more kind of free and run that iteration. And I think it will help us to generate better content. So I think it's very straightforward for us to think about that AI as a tool will make the game development process a lot more productive and iteration faster. But beyond that, I think there are a lot of things that this technology will allow us to do in creating the novelty and the fun that will resonate with our audience and players. And I think one of the examples was I was like looking at, there was one startup that I thought was kind of the clever idea that they're generating daily murder mystery. But in generating the murder mystery, they train their LLM with like real everyday news. So that every day, it's a murder mystery, but like all the characters and places that happens is something very familiar to us because we just read about that place, we read about that character in the news. And I think this is something that we were not able to do without this technology. And I think this is our DNA. I mean, it should be that we game developers are in the profession of creating novelty and creating the fun using whatever is available out there. So I think it's a good example that's simple, but creating that novelty is gonna please the players, and I think that's we'll see a lot of other examples like that.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of pushback on the AI front with things like art, but I think this is ultimately something that's very, very, very good for players, whether it's in the process or at the end result of what they're seeing with levels or content generation. So
yeah. The hyper personalization, like in real time, that's all possible. Like everything, kind of screens and like even the like storefront can be all very different because they can generate it on the fly differently for every player.
Amazing, yeah. In recent years, we've seen some new business models emerge from smaller studios to monetize pre-product, things like founders packs, paid early access, NFT sales, crowdfunding sites even. Do you recommend studios explore more revenue or fundraising opportunities, Web3 or other, with the audience themselves as sort of either a complement or even a supplement to formal investment dollars?
I mean, I'm aware that some of them are doing it. I think sometimes it's for marketing purposes, like building awareness, and also like founders pack for early access. But depending on the like development cycle, I think you have to be very careful about it. If you don't have a product in place and you start selling, I think it's a big commitment to the whoever, whether it's users, whether it's like future players, whether it's investors. If you're getting investment from any of those, it's a commitment and like promise to return something for them. And if you're not even certain that we can deliver something really fun, like 2-3 years from then, and I wouldn't doing it too much of a scale beyond like building brand awareness, because I think everyone taking someone else's investment is very seriously and take it with extreme kind of the responsibility to return it. So like I think it's depending on your like kind of level of certainty and how much confidence you have that you can deliver. I think that's when you have to make a decision whether you are going to sell it or ready to the users or not.
Yeah, one of the bigger shocks for me coming over from Web 2 gaming to Web 3 gaming was the levers that are available to founders at various stages. So for typical Web 2, it's what we talked about, Founders Pass or paid early access, things like that. Whereas Web 3, you have the NFT sales or the token launch. But we run into similar issues around the commitment idea, right? The token launching far too early can sometimes be a poor signal or just lead to speculators and not people who actually care about the game, but more so just care about price appreciation.
Yeah.
Interesting. It seems that a major pain point here, so now we're sort of later stage studios. It seems that a major pain point here for later stage Series A, Series B studios, we're seeing fewer and fewer of those able to successfully raise in that territory than in years prior. In an industry experiencing smaller average investment rounds, fewer of said rounds, and even fewer investors, what can VC-backed studios do to stand out in a crowded market at later critical times in the content space?
I mean, I think there are a lot of things that, like, when I look at new investment opportunities in this gaming space, I mean, I think it's most investors see metrics like retention, conversion, and like, right. I mean, I think it's LTVs. I think at Series A or Series B, you already have a product. And you can get all these numbers, and I think those are going to be the most important, which is the kind of the baseline. So I think when you are presenting to the investors, you should be ready to present all those numbers to make sure they kind of demonstrate that how well your content is appealing to the potential players. But I think it's stepping back. I think today, I think I'd like to also think about when you're developing games, think about why we're developing games. I think games historically has always been at the forefront of innovation. I think it's people do not play games that seems very repetitive and the same mechanism and graphics that we have seen like 10 years ago. I mean, our users, players, are novelty seekers. They are early adopters. They expect for us to explore instead of exploiting the technology and the game mechanics that we have seen over and over and over again. But I think I see a lot of the studios that work on with like immense engineering prowess and like all this investment. They kind of work on polishing, completing already existing ideas rather than really exploring the world and technology, what's available out there, and come up and try to present the novel kind of entertainment for our users. And I think I'd love to see more studios taking that approach and come up with a lot more creative out-of-box ideas as a business.
I see now, you're right, that was kind of a hard question, so thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
In later stages, it certainly obviously becomes very difficult, but water always finds its level and the cream rises to the top. So having something novel obviously always helps. Sort of to close out here, I assume many people in the room have already seen the Matthew Ball report about state of video gaming in 2025, and it paints sort of a bleak picture of the industry today. But we really wanted to leave the room with more of a sense of optimism around the industry that we all know and love. So Dr. Yoon, what's something in gaming that excites you for the future that should give people hope for what's ahead?
I mean, like being in gaming industry is a privilege. I think it's to be able to do this. I think it's an intersection of art, business, and technology. There is no other industry that kind of allows us to explore all those things and be welcomed for making mistakes, for just kind of being too ambitious. So I think it's really great to be in gaming all the time, but it also comes with a level of responsibility. As I mentioned with the previous question, I think we have to, I think it's gamers and users doesn't want us to be complacent. And I think today, I think we're kind of going through that, the period that like the things that we made as a game is not as fun as some of the other consumer technologies. Like for example, like people spend hours talking to ChatGPT. People spend hours creating this art using Midjourney. I think that's another way of engaging with new technology and innovation. It's more fun and engaging. Then I think we are losing out. I think we have. I mean, that's our responsibility. I think it's a game developers. We need to think about what's next, what's the next vision, and like a North Star, and deliver that for our users. And then as long as we do that, there is always a bright future for game developers, because it's in our nature to play game and explore and look for something new.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that it's a very critical time. I wouldn't say an inflection point, but there's a lot of things going on in the world, in the industry with various different technologies at play. I think one thing that personally excites me is sort of perhaps a renovation of the business model idea. Typically, it's about every 7 years between free to play and then Fortnite with the Battle Pass and things like that. And now we're coming up on another year where business models are a little bit stale. Speaking very selfishly, because this is the SWE Summit, I think that SWE is pretty well positioned to do things like that, especially with some of our very promising partners who are in this room. But the other thing, too, is that after having talked with more people, whether it's DICE or here or just generally in this industry, there's still a lot of really fun, creative ideas out there. And it's very much a privilege to be in it. And I think that being able to find the fun, so to speak, is a big part of what the next phase of gaming is going to be like. So, I'm excited for various different parts of it, but no more so than our own games here. So, it's been a fantastic. I think I do have one other question here. Was there a particular reason you chose to focus directly on AI native companies when you launched PvP?
I mean, I think it's a very good question. So, I mean, if you look at the last 20, 25 years, the best-selling product by consulting companies like McKinsey and BCG has been digital transformation. So a lot of the incumbent companies spent trillions of dollars for digital transformation. But it's really hard to retrofit anything. So if you look at top 10 NASDAQ companies, they're not digitally transformed companies. They're digital native companies who started after introduction of broadband, introduction of digital technology. This is a new inflection point, and introduction of the new GPT, which is a general purpose technology, which is AI, is creating that opportunity to create AI native companies. So it's going to be very difficult to retrofit existing companies to be AI native, and this is a time to build AI native companies embracing available technology and resources that will be they'll be winners over the next generations to come. So I think that's kind of the opportunity that I see, and that's why PVP is excited to invest in AI native companies.
Will you miss the games industry?
There are a lot of AI native gaming companies too.
That is true.
Studios.
We're seeing a lot of them. They're very promising. We've been really excited to work with them, particularly given our new initiatives with Walrus, and what we can do there with that. AI trading agents are a big conversation in over on the DeFi world, where eventually we'll approach a singularity where agents are just trading with other agents, and I can lose money very fast that way.
Right.
Look forward to that.
Yeah. Always fun.
Always fun, yeah.
Right.
Never a bad time. Speaking of fun, do you have a favorite game at the moment?
Well, I play games with my kids, like Genshin.
Genshin. They took a lot of my money. Yeah, and Brawl Stars, so we're both on the mobile side.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Yoon. Really appreciate the time. Yeah, don't forget to pick up Push Play, available now on Amazon.com.
Thank you.